Welcome back to A2Run Gaming Helldivers. With the new invasion of automatons into Super Earth space, there have been a slew of new Helldivers completing their major orders. With some players not being as experienced with fighting the bots, I thought I might do my small part in making a little survival guide for the automaton front. Keep in mind, I only fight against the bots on medium and challenging difficulty because I find that the most fun. Feel free to comment what difficulty you play on and tell me any changes you would make to this guide. Stay tuned to the end for some quick tips as well. Alright Helldiver, first thing we need to talk about is our mindset going into this. These automatons are not the same as the Terminids. They don't just mindlessly charge you and overwhelm you with numbers. They have tactics, they call dropships, and most importantly, they shoot back and mindlessly charge and overwhelm you with numbers. Steal your mind with thoughts of liberty and democracy, and let's move on. When fighting the bots, it is super important to bring the right tools to the fight. One of my favorites is the orbital laser, but be careful, it leaves a trail of fire in its wake. The orbital rail cannon. This stratagem will auto-target the strongest enemy or structure nearest its deployment. And of course, the 500 kilogram bomb, the greatest implement of dispensing democracy ever devised. As far as weapons go, I'll give you a few recommendations that you can try out based on your own playstyle. We're going to need some anti-tank power when fighting the automatons. A good early option is the anti-material rifle. It's semi-automatic, accurate, and pretty good at taking out the bigger enemies if you can hit their weak spots. The next option is the autocannon. You will also have to make sure you hit the weak spots or else it will ricochet. But it also has an ammo backpack, so you have to take that into consideration when building your kit. But sweet liberty is it fun to use. Yow! Yow! One last option I'll leave you with is the EAT, that is the expendable anti-tank. This has a short cooldown for calling it in and does good damage, but you do discard it after each shot, so you have to pick up the second shot when you call it in, so plan the drop pod accordingly. You could also use the railgun, but I'll be honest, I still haven't quite figured that one out yet.
I'm gonna try my hand at it.
Oh! One stratagem that I have been running recently is the shield generator backpack. This comes in handy in a tight spot to block those pesky missiles, or save you in case of a friendly fire incident. Maybe.
Whoa! Whoa!
The stalwart and the machine gun are also good fire support weapons, for reasons we'll see later. When it comes to primary weapons, it is important to remember what stratagems you're going to be selecting so that they will have a good synergy. Or you could just go with whatever is the most fun. That's up to you. I'll just give a few examples of some nice combinations. This will be utilizing a few different battle passes, so if you don't have those, feel free to adjust. The first option is actually the first weapon you're given, the Liberator, or its variant if you want a little more penetrating power. The Liberator has a good rate of fire, magazine capacity, so it's an all-around solid weapon. If you go with the variant, you lose some magazine capacity in place of some more power. This weapon works well if you pick up a backpack of some sort like the shield generator or autocannon backpack. The next weapon I like to use is the Sickle. It's an energy-based weapon from the cutting-edge premium warbond. My favorite thing about this weapon is unless you fully overheat it, you won't have to reload. Good rate of fire and extremely accurate, this is a good fit for the same backpack options I mentioned previously. This weapon is very good for destroying those pesky berserkers that are chasing you, but we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. The last weapon is actually from the newest warbond as of recording this video, Democratic Demolition. The Eruptor is starting to make it into my rotation now. It is a bolt action gun that fires explosive rounds. The downside is that bolt action part that I mentioned. This is better used as more of a support weapon and combined with a stalwart or machine gun stratagem, which would then be used as the primary weapon. The bolt action makes it really slow, but if you hit your shots, it does the damage you need. Quick rundown of my current weapon and stratagem setup. I have Eruptor as my primary, Stalwart and Shield Generator backpack as call-ins, Orbital Laser, and an autocannon turret. For turrets, I usually go with the autocannon so as to help whittle down the bigger enemies that I can't see, and it gets them from a distance and all that. Very helpful. Movement is your lifeblood. For this reason, I don't normally run heavy armor against the automatons. The stamina drain is just too much for me. These bots have plenty of firepower, and they will throw it at you. Moving around and dodging incoming missiles and blasts will be essential to the success of the mission. If you brought a shield backpack, it may save you once, but it should not be relied upon. Another benefit to moving is kiting. You can drag enemies to you if you need to make a distraction so your buddy with the big gun can take them out. This is especially useful for the bigger enemies with hidden weak spots that we'll talk about a little bit later. Along with movement should be positioning. Do your best to only stick your head out when you have a shot and have ammo loaded in your weapon. Use the cover of the terrain to your advantage while reloading. Nothing hurts worse than sticking your head out of cover only to find out that you need to reload and get a face full of missiles. As with all enemies of democracy, the automatons all have weak spots that can be exploited to ensure victory. I'll go over a few of them here. The little guys, aka the troopers or commissars, can be killed in just a few shots, but they are weak in the head, which is fitting since they don't appreciate the benefits of managed democracy. The walkers, aka the scout striders, are really just troopers with more armor. Use buddy tactics to get it to turn around and shoot the trooper on the back, or if it's facing you, shoot the flat front with an anti-tank round of your choosing. Be careful, the walker's armor can deflect shots that aren't on target. Berserkers. Here's where we start getting a little interesting. The skull in their chest is a weak spot. They're hard to hit because they're always charging at you and moving around. Switch to a high rate of fire weapon and pepper that head and chest area to slow them down for some good results. Devastators. The head in the middle of the chest is the weak spot and can be shot with normal non-penetrating weapons, and they can be killed that way, but be careful because if you miss those rounds, they will ricochet. Anti-tank is the quickest way to deal with these enemies if you have the opportunity. For the rocket variants, you can actually shoot their missile pods to disable them if you don't have a clear shot at their front weak spot. That's handy in a pinch. Hulks. These bad boys are no joke. You will have to work with your team to get it to chase someone. Then it exposes its glowing orange weak spot on its back. If you get really lucky, you can hit the glowing red area in the front, but it takes a very well aimed shot and it's not guaranteed to bring it down with only one. That's a hard shot to hit. Tanks. Heavily armored. Not worth shooting at the side at all. Once again, get the turret to swing around and look at someone else and shoot the vents on the back of the turret with anti-tank rounds of your choosing. Or if you can somehow manage it, you can get to the top of the turret if you can climb up the tank and shoot it from the back as well. These towers. These towers have a similar turret to the tanks with the same weak spot. Shoot these with a few anti-tank rounds and you'll be golden. Or it will take you out from 400 meters away. These towers. These are the weak spots for shooting enemies with normal weapons, but of course that's why I earlier suggested bringing the orbital laser stratagem. It focuses on the biggest threats, which are usually towers, tanks, or hulks. The orbital rail cannon does the same thing, but you can only take out one at a time, while the laser sticks around for a little while and could eliminate multiple big threats. But remember that fire trail. Propaganda towers and illegal broadcasts can be destroyed from a distance with anti-tank stratagems or weapons. Fire a few shots to take down the towers, but then prepare for the counterattack. If you have the opportunity, destroy any bots that look like they're firing a red flare into the sky before they can complete their movement. That's calling down another dropship to reinforce. If you're able to destroy them before they can get the flare up, then you saved yourself some headache in a prolonged fight. Dropships can be shot down if your timing is right. Shoot one of the engines in the front or back. The EAT actually works the best for this, but watch out though, because sometimes the bots that were trying to drop still survive in the wreckage and will start shooting at you, so just be mindful of that. When shooting the autocannon or eruptor at the fabricators, aim at the bottom of the angled cover. The round should then bounce down and destroy the fabricator. This will take a little bit of getting used to. Alright Helldivers, I think I've given you some good starting tips. But remember, no amount of training is a substitute for the real thing. So drop a few times and try something new. You might like it. Of course, feel free to tailor your loadout and playstyle around how you want to play the game. I mean, fighting this galactic war. So get out there and complete those major orders. I look forward to seeing you in the Hell Pod next to me, wherever Super Earth sends us. Thank you for tuning in to A2 Run Gaming. Like the video if you learned something, and subscribe if you think I earned it. We'll see you next time.